participants. So this is wonderful. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Susan Tenner. I'm the executive director and co-founder for Bugs. And we know you all have probably have lots of Zoom fatigue and many other things to be doing than having more time in front of your screen. But we really do appreciate you. Tonight, we will try to be really efficient. Before we get started, I want to review some quick facts about Bugs and also give you a flow of the evening. So we want to ask if you could please hold off on questions in the chat till about 6:15, because we find that a lot of people start putting things in the chat before they've had an opportunity to really hear some of the answers to their questions. And we really do want to hear from you. We really do appreciate your questions. But we were hoping that maybe you could hold off till about 6:15 so that maybe we have a chance to address them beforehand. So here's some quick facts about us and a little bit about tonight's program. We're going to tell you a little bit about the Bugs story, so you know where we come from and the founding of our school briefly. Wynette Caesar, our principal, is here tonight. She's going to talk about a lot of teaching and learning at Bugs. Our director of sustainability and science, Jess Kawaja, is going to talk about our sustainability approach and also have a student speak about that as well. I'll review some of our life at Bugs, and our after-school director's here as well to talk about our free after-school program. And then we're going to have a student and family panel where you'll have an opportunity to hear from different students and family members. And I think we even have Naomi, one of our alums, in the house as well. So we're really happy to have her so you can hear a little bit about the effect of Bugs on the high school experience. And then we'll address any further questions and answers, further questions you have at the end of the session. Some of the common questions that we get are some of these quick facts here. We also have a lot on our website, so I hope that you'll continue to check us out online, and you can learn a lot more about our curriculum and our approach and other details online. We're about a small school of about 300 students, which we think is really important and by design. As a middle school where all adolescents are known. We have an average class size of about 24 to 28. Our hybrid class size is 10 to 15, and all of our classes are currently co-taught. We have an ICT model throughout the whole school, and a strong inclusion approach reaching all learners. We do have a uniform policy, so we have a dress code, which is a pretty relaxed uniform policy where we have a uniformed top and shirt.
They have a dress code.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Sharifa. Your son or daughter doesn't sound like they enjoy that at all. If you could please mute, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sorry about the uniform. But it does help us to identify students. And we do share a building. We have a distinct space, but it really does help to have a unifying look to our kids. Also, when we're on field study, but it's pretty laid back. It's just the shirt, and then you can do whatever you want with your everything else on your body. We have a schedule. Part of our key design element is an extended school day and year. So that takes us to, on average, a school day that's about 8:30 to 3 or 8:30 to 4, depending on an individual student's schedule. And this also dovetails with all the things that you'll hear that we offer at the school that many middle schools can't, and we fit it into the day. And it also means that we don't have as much time devoted to homework. So for the most part, we are no more than an hour, depending on how a student plans their project work, an evening. And that's part of our model, is that most of the school work is done during the school day so that kids can be off after that. So yeah, that's where we are, what the evening has in store for us. I want to just briefly introduce you to Kevin Peñalosa, who is our parent coordinator. He's going to introduce himself and also make sure that any of our Spanish-speaking families are aware of how to reach him, how to receive information in Spanish, and information about our upcoming Spanish speaking only sessions. Take it away, Kevin.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Like Susan Tenner said, my name is Kevin Peñalosa. I recently just started at Bugs. I'm happy to be at Bugs. Believe very highly in the mission of Bugs. Little brief info about me. I'm from Queens, New York. Currently pursuing my master's degree in arts administration, which is nonprofit work, and I'm happy to be at Bugs. And for the Spanish speakers, mi nombre es Kevin Peñalosa. Yo recién comencé a Bugs hace unos días, la otra semana el lunes, y estoy agradecido por estar en Bugs porque yo creo en la misión de Bugs. Y si alguien tiene preguntas en español, puede consultarme al 347-684-2176 o en el chat. And for my English speaker, I forgot to say this. You can also contact me by my cell phone number at 347-684-2176 or through the chat if you have any questions in regards to Bugs. Thank you and enjoy the presentation.
Thanks so much, Kevin. I think you had an announcement, Antoinette.
Thank you, Kevin. And yes, so I would like to go over some quick etiquette with everybody, some technological etiquette. In order for this meet to move and go as smoothly as possible, I would like everybody that is not a Bugs staff member or student to turn off their cameras and mute their mics. That ensures that this will be speedy and non-glitchy. So if you do not know where the camera icon is, it'll be at the bottom bar. It should look like a black and white symbol, a box with a little, what would we call that, a triangle attached to it. So please hit that icon, turn off your camera and mute your mic so we can have a smooth session here. Enjoy your night.
Thank you so much, Antoinette. Yeah, that particularly helps when we're going to show a little bit of video as well. So again, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to introduce our new families to our really special school that I've been super proud of to be part of since its beginning, its founding. With all the challenges that we're facing with the health and safety of our families, as well as fighting for social justice and our climate action and the racial inequities that we face in our society, I think the need for Bugs is stronger than ever. And we're going to show you how that is and how your students really are part of that solution. So Antoinette, we can go to the next slide. Thanks. All right, so our school was founded in 2013 by our co-founder Miriam Nunberg, myself, and community members, parents, and educators in order to provide an option for families that were seeking a warm, inclusive, supportive, small, rigorous, and progressive program for their children. We were designed to address the capacity and the equity issues that we faced in District 15. And we're really pleased that the district has taken additional steps to that. We chose to open as a charter school because it allowed us the latitude to develop our design and our model, to have an innovative curriculum, to decide on our school hours and days, and to hold our enrollment to 300 students. It also allowed a random lottery, which was an equal access opportunity to join our community. As a charter school, we are able to launch a sustainability curriculum and also design a school experience to engage and support middle school students during an especially challenging time in their lives. And we really specialize in middle school. So it's a small school that just focuses on the major transitions that happen in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We operate under approval and review of our authorizer, which is the New York State Education Department, and we're governed by a board of trustees. So we're a private nonprofit we created ourselves that is, that oversees, the board of trustees for which oversees Bugs, and our authorizer is the New York State Education Department. So what we get by being a charter school is that we get a lot of flexibility, but also additional accountability. So one of the major ways that we show what our students know, and we show the public that we are serving our students well and taxpayer money well and doing what we should be doing as a public school, that we do show that unfortunately, through the state exams. But we really do believe that the state exams are an opportunity for students to show what they know. And we review them to make sure that we are accomplishing our goals. But we are not a test prep school by any stretch of the imagination. We truly believe that our educational approach focused on largely project-based learning and sustainability education, which develops a lot of higher level critical thinking skills throughout the whole curriculum, is really the way that the core subjects and the state standards are really achieved, and that the test performance just follows from there. Our lottery is random, and our application to charter schools like Bugs, just so you know, it is separate from the DOE process. And so you won't rank us. You can learn a lot more about the admissions process on our admissions tab in our website. And you'll see from this evening's program that in spite of our name, so this is particularly for you kids out there, you do not need to love gardening to come to Bugs. Bugs is about a lot more than the gardening, though that is a fun, hands-on aspect. Our mission really is to provide a hands-on interdisciplinary education to young adolescents of all abilities and backgrounds. Diversity is a big focus of ours, and we have a focus on real-world problem solving and the exploration of social, economic, and environmental sustainability, which you'll hear about later, with people, profit, and planet and their important intersection. Our vision is that our Bug students will excel in the core academic subjects and become engaged community members who are critical thinkers, prepared to achieve excellence in high school and beyond, and really to contribute to a more just, equitable, and sustainable future. So we can go to the next slide. And there's a lot of, I know you'll probably be learning about a lot of different middle schools. So we want to highlight some of the things that really make Bugs unique and so special. Our core elements, you'll hear more about these throughout the presentation. So our whole child approach, which is, a big focus on field study, which has been very important to us, particularly during the pandemic. It's student focused. It's a small, inclusive, and intentionally diverse environment. It has a focus on hands-on, real-world problem solving, which is really important for adolescents when they're really kind of rolling their eyes at a certain point, maybe not in 6th grade, but definitely heading into 7th grade, and really wondering, why are we doing this? And I'm too cool for this. And so definitely seeing why this is relevant to their life and really tapping into their student voice and how they can make a difference is so important. And that's why we focus on sustainability education for an access point for our kids, and for really an obligation to make our world a better place. We're really different from some of the schools in our district or throughout the city, and that is that it is really our sustainability approach. I would say it's also, our size, which I've mentioned a couple times already, but it is very important for some kids that at this tender stage in development that they are more of a big fish in a small pond. And that's really part of our design. We could be more efficient to be a little bit bigger, but we really do choose to be smaller so all children are known. It also allows us to be really nimble and innovative, and that really comes through. Our team is incredible, and that was evident throughout our pivoting during the pandemic, and all of the innovation and constant improvement and feedback loop analysis that we have here at Bugs to really innovate in the educational sector. It's really a place where kids get a lot of support and challenge. So there's a lot of rigor, but also support. And you'll see that our staff and family are super passionate. We have a family-like atmosphere. Our families are also quite involved, which you don't often find at the middle school level. And we have a whole child approach. You'll see about recess, quiet time, advisory clubs, a lot of arts and self-awareness. And everyone's really got a big can-do attitude. We're in our 9th year of operation, and we still have a lot of our startup DNA, which enables us to just really still dig in and solve problems and make things better every day. Next slide. So remote learning, I think we should just mention that. We hope for the best for next year, but we really wanted to share with you some of the highlights of remote learning at Bugs. Our team has knocked it out of the park. Georgia Ramirez, right, on the line with us today, and other staff just did an incredible job leading us technologically and academically under Wynette Caesar's principal leadership to an excellent remote learning program. You can see some of the feedback from families on the left. Here's some examples of how we innovate even within remote learning. You can see a student sharing a pine cone. We do a lot, try to get the lessons, get the kids outside as much as we can. We do try to reduce screen time as much as possible with our lesson plans, and particularly with our longer day. We do have field studies, as we said, which you can see on below that picture. On the upper right, you can see a sustainability showcase, where students that would normally participate in a DOE and citywide sustainability education conference were able to do so remotely and really showcase their amazing projects that they worked on. And it really connects them to each other and to the broader city. And the bottom right is our quest for the CARES gems. So we have the CARES values at Bugs, which is community awareness, reach, exploration, student voice, and sustainability. Bugs cares about sustainability. And that was a really innovative game-oriented student orientation game that our students enjoyed this August, at the end of August, right before regular classes started. And it's just a wonderful example of how innovative our staff can be, and keeping it engaging for the kids and really student oriented. We can head to the next slide, thanks. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off for a bit so you can really focus in on teaching and learning from our principal, Wynette Caesar. Thank you. Are you muted, Wynette?
I am, but I also was not speaking. I was trying to do my split screen thing and be, up on the technology as Georgia has taught me. It took me a little while. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Bugs. We're very excited to have you join us this evening and introduce you virtually via slide deck, our beautiful and amazing and very diverse staff. So the picture you see is all of us actually on one of our PD days. We ran outside to take this picture and just like show people who we are. So next slide, please. Alrighty, so what you'll see here is some of what happens on a day-to-day at Bugs, kids presenting, kids engaging in lessons in the garden, kids working together in the classroom. At Bugs, we really push kids to think critically in preparation for high school in all areas. We provide a lot of different opportunities for kids to apply their learning, both hands-on, small group, whole class, field study, all of it, just to get kids engaged in learning and autonomous in their learning so that they can prepare to, be challenged in the world out there and take on that challenge. We provide opportunities for kids to engage in Regents level courses in the 8th grade in living environments and Algebra 1. And we also have every classroom at Bugs that is co-taught and integrated co-teaching. So we provide a lot of support for students. We have teaching assistants who support students who are struggling in reading and other subject areas in our classrooms throughout the day. We have the advisory program that works on multiple things such as SEL, which is social emotional learning, team building, sustainability, They have advisors, our students, who support them throughout their time at Bugs. They are in the same advisory group throughout their time at Bugs. Things did have to pivot a bit because of the pandemic and remote learning, but that is generally our advisory program. We have our Director of Inclusion, Ms. Sade Martinez, who really works with our teachers and our other academic directors to support our students with special needs and our English language learners, as well as any struggling student who we may encounter on our day-to-day and in our school. We've been doing a lot of work to make sure that students are getting the support they need, especially in recent times. And Ms. Sade has been very, very, very involved in a lot of that and supporting families. Next slide, please. We have a good time, as you can tell from this picture. We really enjoy working with each other. And when you walk through the hallways and you see us interacting, you can really see that what Susan said is true, that we are a small community. We're very collaborative. Our teachers stay with us for many years. They have growth opportunities to be teacher leaders at Bugs. They work very well together. They collaborate in many different areas, such as grade team meetings, department meetings. We have what we call all Bugs leaders that include all of our teacher leaders and our administration that work together. Our teachers are experienced. We have many certified teachers on our staff. We have teachers who go beyond, even if it's not a traditional teacher leader role, to take on leadership roles in many different areas, such as our clubs and lunch clubs, NJHS, all of these different things. Our teachers are always ready to jump on board and help out. Miss Georgia is one example. Miss Georgia, who Susan mentioned, is on the line with us, is one of our tech coordinators, but also our social studies teacher in the 7th grade. So our staff is very diverse, as I said, and come from many different communities. They're very involved in making sure that Bugs remains an inclusive and diverse space for students. We have a growth mindset. We do lots of professional development. Our teachers actually take on the role of providing professional development for each other and coaching and modeling with classroom intervisitations. We work together to create our interdisciplinary curriculum. We collaborate on all levels, actually, be it department, be it grade team, as I said before, to make sure that we are doing all that we can to meet the needs of our students. And we have developed some very strong co-teaching teams over the years who work really, really well together. So you're in for a great time if you choose Bugs as your middle school. Next slide. And here's one of our amazing 6th grade science teachers, Mr. Tim, to tell you a little bit about 6th grade science.
This is Mr. Tim. I will be your 6th grade science teacher next year, along with Mr. Mike. We are really looking forward to the new year and very excited to meet you guys come August. So we hope you have a great summer. We have lots of great things in store coming up. This is one of our friends. His name is Dragon, one of our bearded dragons. So we have all kinds of creatures in our classrooms and hoping to have a really great year next year. So hang in there this summer and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so someone asked about the creatures in our classroom. There was Mr. Tim showing you one of them. And now we have Miss Julia, who is one of our 6th grade reading teachers.
Hey, future 6th graders. My name's Miss Julia. I'm one of the reading teachers at Bugs. And not surprisingly, something that gets me really excited about working at Bugs is when the students are really into reading. So if you personally think that you're a big reader, then I'm really looking forward to meeting you. And if you are one of those people that thinks, oh, I don't really like reading that much, I'm also really looking forward to meeting you too. And I hope that we can change that this year. Reading at Bugs, typically you get a lot of time to read independently in class. We also never do full class books. Instead, we do book partnerships or book clubs. So you won't be reading the same book as the whole class. Instead, you'd be reading the same book as just a few of your classmates. And we study different units throughout the year. So we start the year with fiction, then we move on to nonfiction. We finish with fantasy. My personal favorite unit is social issues, when we talk about different issues that people face based on who they are. That's my favorite unit particularly. But I'm also always trying to make our classroom library stronger. We have many, many books that you can choose from to read in our classroom already. But yeah, I just really love talking to kids about books and getting kids interested in reading. One piece of advice that I have for you when you enter middle school is to advocate for yourself. And that means that you should always feel confident and never be afraid of standing up for yourself, particularly when that comes to talking to your teachers. You should always feel comfortable coming to us for help if you're feeling confused or stuck or stressed or bullied, anything at all. Advocate for yourself. Come talk to your teachers. We're there for you. Anyway, see you soon. Bye.
Miss Julia is another example of our teacher leader. She's currently the ELA department chair at Bugs and leads the department in curriculum planning and analysis of student data and all of that good stuff to support kids. We have some really great enrichment classes. We have some for the arts and technology. We have Spanish in the 7th and the 8th grade because in particular during this time, we really wanted to be sure to address the whole child and all of the needs. So, you know, we could have chosen to focus strictly on core content, but students need that opportunity to show their creativity, to engage with each other. Our technology classes this year definitely brought a lot to our students in helping them being able to navigate remote learning and all of the different platforms that help them to learn at Bugs. So this was really our opportunity to meet all of our students' needs in not just core content, but also in places where they can show their creativity. Students are encouraged to join clubs at Bugs. They can also choose to start clubs. They're able to get support from teachers in leading those clubs and just helping them to navigate the application process. So we have our formal clubs such as National Junior Honor Society and Student Council. We also have our Dean team when we're in the building, but students can have theater clubs. We have LGBTQ that is supported by some of our teachers. We have the garden club, we have the art club. We've also had our singing club that one of our teachers lead during lunch. So again, students are encouraged to also take on these leadership positions as students in our school and advocate for themselves, as Miss Julia nicely put it, in many different ways. And now we will go to the next slide. We have recess every day. It's lunch and recess, and students have the opportunity to go outside. Once you're in the 8th grade, you also have the opportunity to leave the school building for lunch and go down Prospect Park West to the different restaurants and shops and things for lunch. We provide physical education once a week, and we also have our quiet time, which is our meditation program. We have been connected to the David Lynch Foundation, and the students are taught transcendental meditation. At this time, we are currently just doing quiet time, but during the school year when we are in the building and we are able to actually follow the process of training students and staff in meditation. We practice transcendental meditation twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Next slide, please. As I was saying before, we give kids a huge opportunity to prepare for high school. We provide them the opportunity to do our Regents courses, living environments, and Algebra 1. Our students, here is a list of some of the schools that our students have gone on to. We've done a great job in preparing kids for some of these excellent high schools. And we're excited to help prepare you as well for some of these opportunities as you mature and grow into a young adult. Next slide, please. And I'm very excited, actually, to turn you over to Jessica Waja, our Director of Sustainability, to tell you more about our sustainability program at Bugs. Have a good night.
Thanks, Wynette. So I'm Jessica Waja, and I'm going to wait for Wynette to mute. I'll give you a second. It's like all the like pauses that we need for technology. You need to remember that. Okay, so I'm Jessica Waja. I'm the Director of Sustainability and Science at Bugs, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our sustainability curriculum and our overall programming. So we live in a remarkable city where every DOE school, as of I think last year, has a sustainability coordinator, which is a volunteer leadership position for a teacher, and a sustainability plan. Every single school does. So what makes Bugs different? We really go above and beyond with our sustainability program. Our goal, I really think of kind of whittling down our goal into two aspects. One is connecting students with the world outside the classroom, connecting them with the natural world and connecting them with our remarkable city. And two, it's to teach them how to be sustainable citizens. So how to see when change needs to happen and how to make that change. Okay, next slide. So our model for affecting change looks like this. It's grounded in our interdisciplinary approach. So although we have sustainability courses for students, it's also interwoven into our core curriculum and our enrichment program. And our approach to sustainability is based on the 3 pillars model. So what this means is that we're not just talking about environmental sustainability. We are talking about social equity and economic sustainability, economic justice. So whenever students are planning some sort of service activity or service project, they are making sure to hit all 3 of those pillars. Students learn that environmental action isn't just a quick fix for the short term, but long-term proactive solutions that are socially connected and conscious. And our students use what we call the 5 ISCs to guide and check their thinking as they plan for actions. And the ISCs actually originally were developed by the United Nations to make sure that NGO work was proactive and was socially conscious. And our students follow a very similar model to make sure their projects and their ideas are ready for the community. Next one. So our sustainability course sequence. So like I said before, we have sustainability courses for each grade, 101, 102, and 103. In 6th grade is really foundations of sustainability. Most students, when they arrive to Bugs, don't have a solid definition of what sustainability is and what it looks like, and they learn that in the 6th grade course. And then every grade also has a theme. In 6th grade, we talk about urban green spaces and urban gardening in particular. And during remote learning, students have paid particular attention to their block, their neighborhood block, and surrounding parks. And they have participated in the Adopt a Tree program through the New York City Parks Department, where you go online, you adopt a tree on your block, and then you develop an action plan for protecting that tree. So you become a steward of that tree. So we actually have 100 trees under our protection right now. And then their next unit is on composting and soil health. And I'm just going to do a quick blurb about our composting program because it's soon to open up to the wider community, so the surrounding neighborhood. And you will be able to drop off your kitchen scraps and food waste at Bugs, and our students are going to help to process it into healthy soil. So that is going to be the big 6th grade project next year. Next year meaning January. In 7th grade, the theme is water, and students learn about the Catskill Delaware watershed, so how New York City gets its water and what makes that such a remarkable system. And then they develop stewardship plans for making sure that our water remains clean and sustainable, and that when we use our water, when it becomes wastewater, that it doesn't just go back out into the Hudson River, that it's treated properly. And in 8th grade, it's our culminating year, and so we are thinking big. We are imagining a sustainable future. Students talk a lot about civics, sustainable civics, and social equity as they design a city of the future. So they're talking a lot about green architecture, biomimicry, and urban design. And these three themes are woven into their core subjects as well. We call them cycle projects. So whenever students are doing a deep dive and starting off a project in their sustainability class, their core teachers are also listening in, and they're doing complementary projects in those classes as well. And then the last element is climate change. So climate change is a huge topic right now. We don't just devote 1 year to it. It's spiraled throughout our curriculum. So students start to learn about climate change and the carbon cycle in 6th grade, and they're experts in it by the time they graduate. Next slide. So our sustainability program is present through the core subject integration that I talked about, and also in those sustainability courses, which are unique to Bugs. We developed our own curriculum for that. We also have a green team. We actually had our first meeting today to launch that composting program I was talking about before. And our enrichment program also. The teachers are reviewing our sustainability standards and the grade level theme and integrating throughout. And to talk to you more about our sustainability program, I have 6th grader Lily Nguyen on the line, and she's going to take it from here to give you the student perspective. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lily Nguyen, and in my time at Bugs so far, it has been amazing. I have learned a lot. I used to go to the elementary school PS 154, and now I go here as a 6th grader at Bugs. There's a lot of different projects in sustainability, but I'm going to tell you a few. And it's not just in sustainability, it's also in science and reading. Okay, for sustainability, there is an amazing tree project that we just did. People would help trees, and we've learned about so much about it. Like if there's litter in the trees, then it would affect its soil growth. And and we're learning all about how we should keep trees alive and how it helps us. And the Urban Trees Project has been really educating because I've done, for my project, I did litter pickup. And for the litter pickup, we got some people, not a lot of people, but we got some people, friends, family, and we all started picking up trash. It was a huge litter. It was like a litter pickup, and we walked by highways, and it was really nice because we told people and educated people about how litter can really affect trees and street trees that are not in front of houses, because in front of houses, people tend to pick up their trash if they're going outside, or doing an everyday drops. And we found that where there wasn't houses right in front of them, there was more trash. So we all picked up there, and we ended up with 14 bags of trash. For science, we did our geothermal project. And for geothermal, we did our science project. So we each got to choose an energy that would be better than fossil fuels. I chose geothermal energy. And we did our studying. We did every single thing for that. We made slides. We helped educate people by making posters. And we have done a lot of stuff near that project. I did a geothermal project, so I decided to educate people. I did an interview with someone to tell them about how geothermal would help us and how it would be good for us. For reading, we did environmental justice, and with environmental justice, there was 3 projects that we could choose from. I chose racial justice and environmental justice and how it is linked together. And I've found that some exciting things that it was really educating learning about that, and we're just starting it now. We also have field studies in the park. We also have field studies where we go to cemeteries and parks, and it's very educating because we all go there and we all get into groups and we walk around naming trees, seeing what edible plants, and having a lot of fun outside together. And it's very fun and educating, and it's a nice experience. I also have really loved my experience with bugs. Like, I know I've said that, but it's really amazing. I feel like I'm in a community together with a lot of people. All of the classes are very educating. Sustainability is one of my favorite subjects, and you should go because it has taught me a lot through my 1 year here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Lily. That was absolutely perfect. Okay, so I'm going to hand it off to the next person, but if you have any questions about sustainability, you can put them in the chat, and I will answer them, or maybe even Lily will answer them. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Lily. I don't know. I don't think any of us need to go after Lily. I think Lily should run the rest of this show. We will have the opportunity for Lily and for other students that we have with us to be on our panel at the end of this presentation, so you can ask them some more questions and then they can share things more from a student's eye view. So Life at Bugs, just want to give you a little bit of flavor about Life at Bugs. This is really a message from the Office of Student Affairs, which we call the OSA. They really help support community at Bugs and that whole child development that we were talking about before. So we really feel that a strong culture and school culture and climate ensures that our students can achieve their greatest potential. So the culture at Bugs, I would describe as incredibly positive, inclusive, interdependent, respectful, compassionate, and generous in serving others. And we believe that when students feel valued for who they are, and they see themselves as part of the community, that they can achieve greater gains in social emotional growth and independence. I also think it helps them, of course, academically. And we all need a sense of belonging. It all has to start with a sense of belonging, whether that, in order for us to care, whether that's belonging to your school, to your community, to the world. And it's really important, particularly at this time of great change. And as students really pull away from you guys, they will really start to become more independent. They're going to be rolling their eyes and they're going to be pulling away from you. And it's important that a middle school really is a positive place for them to be who they are and taking safe risks and developing their sense of self and independence. So our Office of Student Affairs, our OSA team, they really produce like a range of experiences for our kids. They don't just do sort of the discipline aspects, going to the dean's office. It's really about the positive behavior reinforcement and positive opportunities to engage in the community. and when things go wrong, to also make things right. So they really help us with our CARES values, which I mentioned before: community awareness, reach, exploration, student voice, and sustainability. So we have a variety of different things that help really grow the CARES values in our community. The last picture there, the Bugs house system. So if you kids are any of you are into Harry Potter or have been, it's like a Hogwarts style house system. And so you're connected with, you are randomly picked. It's not quite a sorting hat, but it is a fun process. And you are randomly picked to be in a house, and you're connected with kids that may not be in your section. They may not be in your advisory. They may not be in your grade. And teachers you may not have met yet, and other staff members, and you're all connected in a house, and you compete with different activities that are connected to our CARES values, and it's really fun. We do also a lot of sustainability eco challenges that have been fun, even online, with a lot of great stuff. So they also, the OSA also offers, as you see in the second picture, student leadership opportunities. So student council, it's really important, like we said, our value of student voice, that students are actually helping to make the school a better place. They're identifying problems and solutions, and they're flexing their, leadership muscles. And so that's through student council, but also through NJHS, which you've heard about before, National Junior Honor Society, and a range of different clubs and opportunities where kids can contribute to the community. And then also OSA has some very fun celebrations and special events, killer dances and celebrations and all sorts of things like that. And a fabulous team. You'll meet them a little bit ahead. So yeah, if you could go to the next slide, I think we'll get a chance to meet Mr. Brown in a video here. So this is Dean Brown, and he's just going to tell you a little bit about bugs and our approach to restorative justice.
Greetings to all you future Bugs families. My name is Dean Brown. I'm the Associate Dean here at Bugs and one member of the greatest team ever assembled, representing our Office of Student Affairs. Welcome to the open house. So, what is it I do here at Bugs? Well, I do a lot, but mainly my job boils down to three things. First, I am sort of the gatekeeper of our values, our CARES values. These are the values that we here at Bugs hold dear to our hearts. Now later, I'll explain more in detail about what those values are. Second, I'm in charge of creating and implementing our restorative justice program. Again, another program that we here at Bugs hold dear to our hearts. Later, I'll explain more about what that entails. Last, but most certainly not least, I'm responsible for keeping our students safe. And I want all of you future families to know, this is a job that I take seriously, very seriously. Now let's talk a little bit about the restorative justice program here at Bugs. We empower our students to solve their conflicts on their own through communication, peer mediation, and small group settings. Here at Bugs, we want our students to ask and answer two very important questions. What happened, and how can I make things right? Here at Bugs, we believe in restoring before penalizing. Now I want to introduce my friend, Mr. Kidd, one of my colleagues in the OSA. He's going to go into a little more detail about our restorative justice program.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Kidd. I work in the OSA, and today I'm going to talk to you about our restorative projects and restorative justice circles that we do here at the school. We deal with everything from vaping to bullying to student respect, self-development, and just recently we launched our first student intervention group here at Bugs, and it's been proven to be very successful. We give the students a place to really talk about what's going on with their grades. It may be peer pressure. It may be things that's happening outside of school. So we just try to provide them with an extra outlet so they can really get off a lot of stress that they're holding inside. So that's something we appreciate here at Bugs. We also have lots of different projects that we do where we push inside of the classrooms and we try to get everyone in the community involved. So feel free to check out our website. We have a lot of information coming out, and we have lots of new projects coming out that will involve the community as a whole. Thank you.
All right. And our Office of Student Affairs team is really great. They also, we can go to the next slide, Antoinette. They produce the morning announcements, usually
Greetings to all you future Bugs.
Ooh, there we go. Usually it's, you know, when it's in the school building, it's with students, and they did a great job of creating a remote experience for our morning announcements. And we're just going to show you a quick overview so you can see how innovative and fun our team tries to make it for the kids to pull our community together.
Good morning, Bugs.
Good morning, Bugs. I'm Miss Janae.
And I'm Dean Damian, and these are your morning announcements.
Actually, these aren't quite the morning announcements. Sorry.
Well, what exactly is this, Miss Janae? Because I just don't have time to be wasting doing a bunch of random things.
Here he goes. Calm down, Dean Damian. What I meant to say was that this is an overview of what morning announcements are going to look like. Morning announcements is a time in the morning, clearly, where we come together to connect as a school community, to find out any and all important updates, and to celebrate one another. Pretty cool stuff.
Okay, so not a complete waste of my time. Well, in that case, here's a quick peek at what you all can expect. I was wondering what happened with brain power.
Oh my gosh, me too. Oh my God, the counselors are back with Counselor's Corner. This is so good.
Ooh, staff spotlight. I hope they show people that I don't get to see anymore, that I really do miss.
When I get to be Oprah again? Ow. Oh, looky, what's this? Oh my gosh, it's movement moment with Mr. Kid. Ooh, that's going to be nice. Oh, my girl Tanya coming with some tea. Ooh, I can't wait to hear what she has to say on Tea Time with Tanya.
What in the world just happened? What? What is that? In the zoomies. Strike again.
Is that you, Mr. Shark?
Thank you. That's just a little sneak peek of some of the really fun ways that we bring our community together virtually. So I'm just going to pass it off briefly to Miss Valencia, our amazing director of our free after school program, and she's going to tell you all about it.
Thank you so much, Susan. Can you guys hear me?
You sound great.
Okay, so I just want to okay, great. So I just want to welcome everyone to our open house. My name is Ms. Kernan, and Susan mentioned I am the director of the after school program. And what's so great about it is that we get to continue the great work that Bugs is doing during the school day, but for free. We offer a free after school program that's just funded by our New York City Department of Youth and Community Development in partnership with the Italian American Civil Rights League. We offer both recreational and social clubs. Some of the clubs that we've offered in the past is art club, cooking, film, media arts, journalism. But we also have a survey that we offer at the beginning of the school year, and we ask the incoming students to fill it out so we can have an idea of what activities we'd be interested in adding to the Bugs School. We also have different sports teams. In the past, we've had a basketball team, boys and girls, soccer team, a track team, a cheer squad, and yoga. We always try to incorporate social emotional learning, STEM, and leadership activities into everything that we do in after school. We offer academic support in the form of homework help, tutoring, test prep, and we do it, also in a remote platform right now. But we also have engagement projects and community partnerships where we do fundraising, toy drives. We have a lot of celebrations, school trips. We try to make sure that we, have the culture of Bugs continue. We operate daily, Monday through Friday, directly after school from 4 to 6:30. And we also have holidays that we operate from 9 to 3, and we'll have trips. We are a year-round program. We have summer camp, and applications are put out usually in the June month, and you can get the applications online. And if there's any other questions that you may have in regards to after school, you can reach me at afterschool@bugsbrooklyn.org, or you can call Bell 99. And
Great.
I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much, and I look forward to coming to Bugs and trying out something new. Back to you, Susan.
Thank you so much, Ms. Valencia. So there's some questions about the sports teams. They do compete basketball, and I think soccer.
So yeah, we're in a league, which is the New York Scholastic Athletic League, as well as our track team. We partnered with New York Road Runners, and for our soccer team, we are in a partnership with the U.S. Soccer Foundation. So we do have competitive sports as well as social clubs and social sports.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's just a great extension of the sustainability work, leadership work, and the fun stuff at Bugs. It's really a great program. All right, let's head to the next one. And I'm gonna give you a quick, just visual tour. It's gonna take 2 seconds so that we can get to our panel. So if you can go to the next slide, Antoinette. So I see some questions about the gym and the recess yard and things like that. So what's really cool about Bugs is we are a small school that offers large school amenities. We do pay for private space with the diocese, and so does the Department of Education as well. So we do coordinate these shared spaces with them. But we do have daily recess for about half hour that you in a recess yard that you don't see pictured here, but you saw it earlier. We have a beautiful auditorium that we share as well, a great gymnasium. So a lot of the schedule is built around the gym access. And you can see our basketball team there and our cheer squad. And then we also have a great cafeteria that's used for lunch and goes right out to the recess yard. But it also has it also can be used as a multi-purpose kind of space, which you can see right here. I think there were some questions, and Wynette addressed earlier about that students can go outside for lunch, but not until 7th grade, so that in 6th grade they're really having a closer knit community. And if students' behavior is on point, then they have the privilege of going out for lunch. We can go to the next slide, please. You can see here at our entrance, you can see Miss Lydia and Miss Wynette at the entrance. You can see our gardens just to the left of the entrance. There's more to the right. We do a lot of work in our gardens, and the PTA's had some fabulous events there throughout this year. Our 6th grade wing is dedicated just to 6th grade. So it's a really great way for 6th graders to kind of get to know the school and really, they're switching classes for the first time and teachers and all that, but at least they're doing it in a space that's so contained. So they're really just going like right across the hall or right next door in our 6th grade wing. You can see in this next picture, the 7th and 8th grade wing, they sort of move up to that level of things when they get to 7th grade. And yeah, beautiful spaces in our Bugs Green. And we're just so glad, as you know, it's hard to offer, to have a gym and offer these amenities in the city. And so we're really lucky to be able to do so. We can go to the next slide. what we're going to do is have our fabulous panel stay on to answer some questions that we received in advance, that we've gotten in the chat, anything else we haven't addressed for our last half hour here, or however long you all want to stay. We're going to do a little quick break so you can do a little stretch. This is an example of a little bit of a brain power exercise that we do to get our students moving, particularly in remote learning, and mix up our instructional time. So we thought we'd share it with you. Maybe you need a little break too.
Hi, this is Coach Marcus with Brain Power, and I'm super excited to give you our Brain Power Challenge for today. Are you ready? Take my Brain Love Challenges, because it does. Awesome. Are you feeling sleepy or bored? I'm going to give you a challenge that's going to help you reconnect with your mind and your body. So, are you ready? We're going to paint the fence and wash the window. Yeah, you know what it is. Wax on, wax off, and paint the fence. And wash the window. And paint the fence. And wash the window. Let's see if you can do both at the same time. Oh yeah, neuroplasticity challenge. And then switch. Ah, I love it, I love it. Keep smiling. Take a deep breath into your nose. And breathe out through your mouth. That's my challenge to you. Let's see if you can do this 3 times. And then switch. Yeah. Let's do it. This is Brain Power. I appreciate you. Healthy body, happy heart, brain power. You got this.
All right. So I think we'll just go ahead and jump in. For those of you brave souls staying on with us, I'm so happy to have some really special kids and parents in the house. So I'd like you to introduce yourselves. Naomi, I haven't seen you in so long. Are you out there? Can you start us off and introduce yourself and explain who you are? Maybe not. Maybe Naomi's not. There's Naomi! I can't hear you. Okay, maybe we'll start with somebody else. We're going to come back to you. You look muted, but so work on that. Let's go to, how about Anna and Alex? Do you want to say hi and introduce yourselves?
There we go. Hi, everyone. Very excited to see so many folks. This is Alex, and I'm Anna. I'm part of the PTA, and Alex is in
7th grade, and I'm also part of NJHS and student council. So if anyone wants to talk about that, I'm here for that.
Great, awesome. And you know, while I have you, maybe I'll just jump into a question, and then we'll rotate. People can introduce themselves as they take on some questions. So Alex, we get a lot of questions from people about how we have, how we address a range of learners at Bugs, you know, with our inclusion program. Tell us about how you feel supported and challenged, and how, how does that work for you in your classes? What do the teachers do? Some of your experiences in class, but maybe also your clubs and involvement.
Sorry, I was muted, but you know, it's very hard in a remote setting to, you know, make sure that everyone is being balanced, and, you know, everyone has a good amount of work and everyone's being challenged like they need to. But, you know, in the building, the teachers would often put us in small groups, and, you know, put us in groups based off of, you know, what we understood and what we didn't understand. And, you know, they're doing that in the remote setting as well with the breakout rooms feature, you know, being able to get into small groups and still be able to conference, you know, one-on-one, and, you know, doing things with kids, if they need help. And, you know, we also have office hours. A lot of classes have office hours during lunch, you know, to see if they need help and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. And how about you, Anna? What tell us about what's up with the PTA, and also how do you, when you talk to friends who are at different middle schools, like how do you characterize bugs maybe a little differently or similar to what you hear them talk about?
Sure. I think one of the things that we really enjoy about Bugs is that it is a small school. It's a small community. People really get to know each other. We get to know each other at the parents level, but also at the kid level. I think it's actually really helped through the pandemic to have such a small community because it's allowed us to be a little bit more flexible and sort of figure out, how to address the different issues as if they started. And so, for example, in the PTA, we've really focused on how can we get some of our kids outside and meeting in person, even though, we might not be able to be in the schools. And so we've done a lot of activities at the park, picnics, cleanups, just trying to build, more of a sense of community, even though we have been in this remote setting. I think some of the bigger schools sometimes struggle to be able to do that and to react so quickly. It's something that I think has been a strength during this time in particular. And it's just been fun to get to know people.
That's awesome. Thank you. And Naomi, how's your mute button working now? Should we go to you? What do you think?
It's better now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yay. Okay, good. Well, I'm always excited to see Bug students, but Naomi is an alum. So she graduated last year, and we thought it'd be really cool for her to just share her experience and sort of what it's been like. Yeah, tell us what it's been like for you as you carry your Bugs experience forward, like how we might have gotten you ready for the high school I know this isn't the typical high school transition, but anything you want to share along those lines, and tell us who you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Naomi McLeod. I just graduated. I'm the class of 2020 for Bugs. I go to Packer Collegiate Institute. And one thing that, there's a lot of things, but one thing that was really helpful, there's a lot of stuff. So, okay, well, one thing I can say is the Regents program, and I was able to take Algebra 1 and Living Environment, and that was really helpful in preparation for high school because that's already one class that's knocked off the list, or two classes that are knocked off the list. I also had the SHSAT program, which was helpful to a lot of students, and you were able to take prep for the SHSATs for anyone who wanted to go to a specialized high school. I didn't go because that personally wasn't what I wanted to do, but for anyone who's interested in specialized high schools and when they get to the 8th grade, it's really helpful having that in the 7th and 8th grade to be able to prep for that, which is already free in the school. So that was really helpful. I think that it was really helpful having, teachers be able to help to be able to give you recommendations, and teachers were really dedicated to making sure we succeed, which is obviously important for any teacher in any setting. And I think that I got a lot of, I had to ask teachers for recommendations when I was in the 8th grade for certain schools, and that was really helpful. Those are just a couple of things. And also sustainability. Sustainability was my number one thing. I really enjoy telling people about sustainability, and I don't think I would have known anything about it if I hadn't gone to Bug.
That's awesome. Thank you. It's so good to see you. So hopefully you'll chime in some more here. But let's see. I think we have Janara and Alifair here on the line. Can you introduce yourselves? Oh, great. Hi. Can you introduce yourselves? And maybe, Alifair, maybe you could tell us, I see there's a question also about workload, is it heavy or light? I know that's so individual for certain people, but maybe you guys can just introduce yourselves, say what you like about Bugs, and maybe Alifair, you can take a crack at that question about the workload. Maybe it's best to compare to other friends, or I don't know how you can describe it, but if you could give it a shot after you introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Okay, so I'm Alifair, and I'm in 7th grade, and this is my mom. And so the work there, it doesn't feel like there's too much work. You might have, sometimes I spend up to maybe an hour to 30 minutes if I do have work to finish up. And The asynchronous days are also very helpful just to catch up on work and have time to like not like just have time where you're not in school and you're not rushing to a class, which is really nice. And like I think the work they give us isn't like, I wouldn't say it's very hard. So yeah.
It feels grade appropriate. Like it feels like what you can do.
It's not like they don't give us stuff we don't know, but it feels like we've learned it and now we can do more about it. And sometimes we might not know something, but we'll like figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's a fine line between being too challenged and feeling accomplished.
Yeah.
As somebody, as just somebody who's an onlooker.
Thank you so much. And Janera, do you want to introduce yourself and your role at the school?
Sure. I'm Janera. I am also on the PTA. I'm the PTA president this year. Along with Anna, we have a small team, but it's actually been kind of, a silver lining in some aspects, and really we've been challenged about how to continue to engage people and make sure we're stewards for the community and make sure we are supporting everybody to the best of our ability. And we've really had to think outside of the box. So it's been a great challenge for us, and I think we feel really we've worked really hard at making a wonderful partnership with the school, and I think we're really proud of that. Looking at you.
That's awesome. Thank you. Hazel, are you on the line with your mom, Fern, or are you here as yourself, or do you want to say hi? Oh, and by the way, so everyone knows, we do have boys at Bugs. I'm sorry that we only have girls here that are sharing their experience, but we do have boys, and they really like it. But they didn't necessarily volunteer to join us tonight. But yes, are you there, Hazel? Do you want to say hi? Maybe not. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at some other questions here. Naomi, could I ask you about what is some advice that you have for students that are considering Bugs or are just, they're considering Bugs, or really entering 6th grade in general, but also as they face this decision?
Okay, yeah. Well, I want to, maybe 2 things I would say is keep an open mind. I want to say, okay, maybe just that's it. I feel like keeping an open mind is so important when you're applying to middle schools. It feels like yesterday that I was walking into the Bugs building on my first day of school. And I was Bugs was that was the school that I got into, and that was the only school that I got into. So it was I didn't know what else to do, and I didn't go to the open house, and my parents went to the open house, and they really liked the school, and I wasn't able to go to the open house that day. So I was just kind of going into it not knowing, and I was really nervous. But when I went there, I was so happy with what I got out of it. And also, don't be psyched out if you don't know a lot about sustainability. I remember walking into my sustainability on my first day of sustainability class on my first day of 6th grade, and they had a little a questionnaire, and we were one of the questions was, what is sustainability, or do you know what sustainability is? And I was I have no idea what this is, because I just wasn't exposed to that before. But now I can tell other people what that is, and I've just learned so much about that. So definitely don't be afraid if you don't know a lot about sustainability or gardening or whatever it is, because you'll definitely learn that if you decide to go here.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. And while we have you, maybe also, the advisory program that we have at Bugs, a lot of schools, you'll hear parents, they do have an advisory program. What's a little different at Bugs is how sort of intensive it is. So it's very intentional. It's very intensive. So it's not just a study hall. It's a place where kids are really known in a small group, and there's a social emotional curriculum that's attached to it. There's also time when they meet. You heard Lynette describe it briefly, I believe, one-on-one with their advisor about their academics and going through the grade book together and really working on their executive functioning and their planning and, you know, advocating, as you heard, was good advice from Miss Julia for teaching kids to advocate for themselves. And so there's a lot of focus on the social emotional connection. Could you, Naomi, or anyone really could chime in and just talk about the advisory experience or the social emotional supports at Bugs?
Okay, I guess I can talk about that actually, no, I think it'd be better if a current student talks about it, so you guys can go first.
Okay, great. Alifair, go for it.
Advisory is like really, it's just a great way to like start off the day, like when you know there's gonna be a lot of classes after, so it's kind of nice just to and like it doesn't feel like we're doing much work. It feels like they're feels like kind of just like a time to like relax and just like it's like having school but not doing anything. And
can I say something?
Yeah, you can say something.
One of the things I've noticed too is it's a social opportunity, but it's an opportunity to discuss big issues. So right after we live in a small apartment, so I hear all the classes, but right after the election, one of the things they talked about was what does it mean that the vice president is the vice president elect is a female and a woman of color? So I find that the advisors take that opportunity to to work on social emotional work, get the kids to talk, get the kids to kind of open up, but also take that opportunity to talk about big issues out in the world that, you know, a student doesn't always get the chance to talk to while they're doing math, right? I mean, I think in general, Bugs does a great job of incorporating issues of the world into the curriculum, but this is a specific opportunity just to talk about, you know, an opportunity to talk about your favorite movie, but also talk about like what is the world going to look like with these people leading it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and another thing, like sometimes like we off a bit early, so it's also nice to it's also nice to kind of, if I don't know, if I wake up early, but like if someone wakes up at 8:30 and doesn't have a chance to get dressed or like brush their teeth or eat breakfast, that's like it's a good chance to like be in school but still be able to like get ready for school and prepare for it.
This is what it looks like in COVID world, the alternative universe. In the other universe, maybe Naomi can talk about that, but in this universe, this is what advisory looks like.
Great. Okay. Let's see what other questions we have. Susan Bax, do you want to punt something from the chat that's coming up or anything else that we should address? I have some other things that we've gotten in advance, but.
We have actually just got this question in about how is the school for more reserved kids who are comfortable that way? How do we support kids who are shy?
Great. Is there a student here, even though you volunteered for an open house event, which by virtue of that means that you're not not terribly shy, perhaps? Is there someone who would like to share from a student perspective? I'll go ahead and say that we are definitely really sensitive to a range of learners and a range of kids, range of personalities, that there's always a focus in how lessons are planned and how instruction is delivered and how evidence of learning is shown, that it has a variety to it. So, you know, whether you're a visual learner or an auditory learner, and that you also have the opportunity to show what you know in different ways. Participation and engagement. We've been talking a lot about engagement in the remote setting in particular. It brings up a lot of questions and real raw, a raw and fresh look at what does it mean to be engaged in school and to be fully present. And particularly knowing that, a student can just walk away from the computer or, it really does bring up some great, brings to light a lot of our student-focused approach. And that would be, would also be something that for a student who's shy, that, maybe they feel more comfortable writing something in the chat than speaking out loud. In person, maybe it's something that they want to participate in different ways and in different settings, that they can work with their teacher to explore not just what they feel comfortable with, but getting out of their comfort zone in order to really be a member of the community in a variety of ways. Did anybody else want to chime in on that?
Susan, there were several questions about the lottery and diversity at Bugs. And I'm just looking at the time. I just want to give you a heads up that they kind of went up in the chat and may have been missed.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So these are great questions. So we have had, like I said, when we were founded on really on a bedrock of serving our diverse community and being a diverse school. Over the last couple of years, we've become less diverse, and we actually are we've been working our outreach efforts, because since it's a random lottery, making sure that we are doing outreach far and wide and deeply so that the random lottery will then yield an offering of seats and an acceptance of seats to a broad range of folks. And we define diversity, whether it's socioeconomic or racial or ethnic, it could be diversity of learners. And so we are looking at now, we have a weighting for our English language learners, but we're also looking at a preference for free and reduced price lunch applicants. And that is something that is being put through with our authorizer as we speak. So there may be a preference for those that are eligible for free and reduced price lunch. Diversity is also something that we really focus on at all levels of the organization. We've had, we do a lot of deep work on implicit bias training, support for having difficult conversations. We do a lot of work with our curriculum to make sure that it's accessible, that it's inclusive, that it's relevant. Again, remote learning also brings to light the extreme inequities in our society and the diversity of experience that our different students and families have. And that's also the advantage to being a small school, where we reach out and do a lot of outreach both to the students and to the families to give the support that they need. Yeah, thank you, Susan. She also put in information about our, you can go to our website and there's a lot of more information about the admissions process and also our curriculum.
If we have time, I guess, and this is for maybe Wynette, about, there are a few questions around curriculum about whether sustainability is integrated into the classes or is its own thing, I guess, and Jess can talk about that too. And someone also asked about what's the math curriculum like?
I was just typing that up in the chat. So I just literally posted it in the chat, what the math curriculum is. And Jess, you can jump in on the sustainability aspect, but we do utilize the Teachers College Reading and Writing Workshop curriculum for reading and writing. Our social studies teachers use the scope and sequence to plan their lessons. And we use Math in Focus, as well as supplementing with Khan Academy and IXL. In reading, we also use the Learning Ally program to provide support to our struggling readers, as well as Achieve 3000, which is a nonfiction version, well, it's not a version of Learning Ally, but a nonfiction curriculum used to support students in reading who may be struggling. Our teachers actually do a lot of vertical and we did a lot of work around this year, vertical and horizontal alignment of the state standards and our sustainability standards across content areas. So in every content area, sustainability is woven into our curriculum. So I believe Jess posted an example of how that works. So while we utilize the Teachers College Reading and Writing Workshop curriculum for reading and writing, teachers integrate our sustainabilities, the 3 Ps, into all of that work with the resources and the focus on critical thinking about issues in society. Lily talked a lot about what they were doing in reading and how it carried over into the field and cleaning up and the science, and all of it is interwoven. Jess, do you want to add anything if you're still on?
Okay, so it's just typing away. The question was about the interdisciplinary aspect of our curriculum.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can talk in particular about the cycle projects. So the cycle projects are how teachers collaborate on the grade level theme to see a project through. So an example would be in 6th grade, we talk about the 3 pillars. Social equity, environmental stewardship and environmental justice, and economic viability. And then each subject in a meeting, a series of meetings throughout the first semester, develops a component of a project that supports learning about that theme. And so the first year we did the cycle projects, the end product of our 3 pillars theme was the community market. So students developed a community market. They learned about pricing in math class and the difference between pricing for local foods and for foods that come from further away. They learned about the carbon footprint. They, wrote advertisements in their ELA classes. They learned about the Fertile Crescent in social studies and connected it to like modern urban ecology, all sorts of really, really cool connections that sort of developed holistically over time. But the cool thing about this work that our teachers are doing that is quite holistic is that we document everything and it lives on in our students and it grows from year to year. And I have lots of other examples too, if you want to. Actually, you can check them out on our website.
Yeah, that's really good.
Our teachers made some really great curriculum night videos that are that you can access on the website in all of our content areas. So you'll see, you'll get information directly from our teachers on what they do and how everything works in all of the different subject areas.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, Bugs staff. Thank you, Bugs kids. Thank you, alumni and Bugs parents. And thank you to all of you guests, particularly these last 72 hanging on to the very last moment. If you have any more questions, check our website, email us at admissions@bugsbrooklyn.org. And all the information about how to apply and next steps is all on there. We really appreciate you. Thanks for spending the night with us. And if you have any questions, just let us know. Thank you. Good night.